while talking to Sean. I mentioned this, I think, last week as well. One of my favorite aspects of this card is not only that we're getting the rematch between Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz, it's that they're playing off of one of the fun storylines that developed sort of out of the blue, that first press conference around 10 or so days before the fight at 196 in March, which was both Nate and Conor sort of talking smack about their training partners. Who trains with the better guys? Whose team is better? Etc., etc. So on Saturday, on the FS1 prelims, we're getting a protege of the Diaz brothers, young Chris Avila, fighting Artem Lobov. This is brilliant. I love this. We're talking to Artem right now on the Skype machine. There he is, the Russian Hammer himself, joining us from Las Vegas. Artem, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks very much, Errol. Thanks for having me on the show again.
Yes, it is a pleasure as always, my friend. So, a lot to talk about here. Let me ask you this. After your fight against Alex White, of course, didn't go your way, did you think that you would get one more shot in the UFC?
To be honest, I wasn't 100% sure. I knew it could go either way. Like, I knew I was in the same situation as Uriah Hall after his Ultimate Fighter experience. He knocked out 3 guys on the show, and then he lost his first 2, and he did get another shot, but many guys don't. So I was in a similar situation again. You know, I got the 3 knockouts on the show, so that always sort of puts you in a better place if you are a knockout artist. You know, it's a simple economics. You know, the demand is very high for knockouts, and the supply is very, very low. Especially at the featherweight division, it's pretty much non-existent. So with me being one of the few knockout artists, I knew there would be probably a bigger possibility for me to get an extra chance.
Why has it not clicked for you? I mean, I know what happened in the Ryan Hall fight. It was very hard. His strength was sort of your weakness. But why has it not clicked for you thus far in the UFC? Why have you not been able to produce the knockouts that you were producing on The Ultimate Fighter?
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, it's, you know, people say, I know in fight terms, you know, two fights, lose 2 fights, that's huge. You know, that's like pretty much you've had a bad year. But in the bigger sort of way of things, it's not that much. I mean, if you look at like football teams, you know, they often have, you know, 2 bad games and then they still win the season. So, you know, to have 2 bad fights, I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. You know, obviously in the UFC things are very strict, and this could be the end of your UFC career. But I feel that I do have the technique, I do have the skill, I do have those knockouts in me, and I feel that it will show.
Going into The Ultimate Fighter, it felt like you had something to prove. You wanted to prove that you were UFC worthy, that you deserved the shot. And then you get all those knockouts and you make it to the final. Is it possible that now, because of these 2 fights, because of this experience, you've been humbled a little bit, and now you're going back to that old Artem who is looking to prove things and not so much showing that he can knock people out? You just want to prove that you belong, that you can win, that you can be a contender in this organization. Has anything shifted in the way that you are approaching this fight as opposed to the 2 other fights in the UFC?
Well, in terms of my style and what I plan to do, nothing has changed. You know, I've been that way since my first fight. It's not even about, you know, I just want to knock people out. I think it's to do with your personality as well, and this style of fighting, you know, goes with my personality. I want to go in there and I want to dominate. I want to destroy guys. You know, I never want to cuddle guys. I never want to, you know, grapple guys. So I mean, this is how I fight. So in that sense, nothing has changed. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I really want to get this win. You know, I do feel that I could be sprinting in the UFC, but before you can sprint, you have to walk, and this is going to be the first step.
Before you were offered the fight against Chris, were you given some kind of confirmation, some kind of assurance that you are sticking around, that you'll get one more shot in the UFC, or was this the fight that kind of kept you around?
To be honest, what happened was I was, because I approached them and I said, look, I'm ready to go on short notice. And the feeling I got from the UFC is that I might not get another one. So I just started looking elsewhere, you know, and I had a pretty good fight lined up in Russia. You know, obviously I didn't want to take no easy fights again, so I found out who the best unsigned featherweight was outside of the UFC, and I approached them directly and I said, look, I want to fight you a champ. And that fight seemed to be, you know, they want to put the fight on. And I messaged the UFC saying, okay, can I please get my release, and I'm gonna go and fight this guy. And this is when they offered me the Chris Avila fight. So obviously the goal always is to be in the UFC. So once they said that they were gonna give me this fight, I was like, right, that's it. Then I'm not gonna do anything else. I'm waiting for this fight.
Before Conor's story with Nate Diaz started, before 196, had you ever heard of Chris Avila before?
No, I've never heard of this guy before. But having said that, obviously they know that this is a war. They know that this is going to be a big one. So if they have chosen him, he must have skill. He must be good. They must feel that he can beat me. So I'm not taking this lightly.
What do you think of him now? Now that you've been preparing for him, thinking about him, is he on your level? Is he UFC caliber? He's never fought in the UFC before. So what do you make of him?
Yeah, I mean, I can see by the way he fights, he's trying to be Nate. He's trying to copy the style of the Diaz brothers, which is understandable. They're the same team, but I have said this before. It's not a good style to copy. People always talk about how good Nate's boxing is, but if you look at his fights, he lives most of his fights absolutely mangled. Blood everywhere. His style relies on being a very, very tough guy. It's a great style to watch. I love watching his fights, but it's not a good style to copy. Especially if you're gonna face someone like me with the kind of power that I have. No one hits as hard as I hit in the featherweight division. So I don't know. He wants to copy that style against me. He wants to try and be Nate. Best of luck to him.
Is there anything that Chris does that really impresses you for a young guy? Is there anything that you're kind of impressed by, or is it all just kind of another opponent for you as far as his talent is concerned?
Yeah, well, there's one thing always kind of amazes me about him and the whole team. Like he's he's only 20 years old, but he's got a dad bod. Yet his cardio is really good. I don't know how they do that. That must be the munches or something. They train hard, but the diet must be horrible. I mean, how is he so fat? I mean, how do they look so fat? I never understand that. How can you look so fat and have such good cardio? I mean, this one of the things that always kind of amazed me.
Maybe he's a dad.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I know. You know how they are over there in 209. They're Mexicans.
I have no idea what you're talking about. If this whole situation wasn't playing out on Saturday, if it wasn't Conor versus Nate, the rematch, do you think he would be in the UFC, or do you think that they are playing off of this rivalry between the two camps?
Oh yeah, of course they are playing off of this rivalry, but I know he was signed to Bellator or something, and I think he fought for what's the other big one, the World
Series?
World Fighting. Yeah, World Series of Fighting. I think he fought for them once. So I guess he was sort of, his name was up there in the mix, with the big organizations, but I don't think he would be in the UFC if it wasn't for this fight.
Yeah, he fought one time in World Series of Fighting. He lost back in December of 2014. When you approach this fight, when you think about this fight, when you're getting ready mentally for the fight, do you view this as, the 209 camp against SBG? Are you representing all your training partners when you fight him? Are you thinking of it like that as well?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you've seen all those press conferences. I took that one. Personally, they're saying, oh, what's the quality of your training partners? Okay, that's fine. They questioned it. I never doubted the quality of Conor's training partners because the results were there. He is a world champion. But, they said it. They want some proof. They feel their training partners are better. They set this fight up. Let's find out. And that's the beauty of our game. You don't need to wonder.
Yeah.
You can find out. It's very easily done. So we're going to do it now. UFC 202, August 20th.
Do you also think about, just being honest, when I reported this fight, a lot of the comments were, oh, Artem's still in the UFC. He's only sticking around the UFC because he's Conor's boy. I'm sure you hear this all the time on social media. Does a part of you want to shut those people up as well? Do you think about that too?
Of course, look, there's always many, many reasons, to win, and you never ever want to lose. So that would be one of the reasons also, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. You guys have been, for the most part, training for this event in Las Vegas. So kind of like 189, not like 194. Not like 196, but you've gone back to the McMansion and all that stuff. Do you like that better, or would you prefer to be in Dublin and come out, a week or two before?
Yeah, I think I like this better, to be honest.
Why?
You have to get used to the place where you're gonna fight. Now it doesn't feel like travel. It doesn't feel like a new place anymore. This feels like just normal. You wake up, you eat, and you go train. And on fight day, you wake up, you eat, and you go fight. So I do like it this way. And also, this camp has a lot more structure to it than any other camp we've ever done. I know exactly when I'm supposed to be eating, what I'm supposed to be eating. I know exactly when I'm supposed to be training, what I'm training, the exact times. I know exactly when I sleep. So it's been very good in that sense. Much easier to make weight.
At the media day on Friday, Conor spoke about that, saying that the training camp starts at a specific time, it ends. Before, it was just kind of happening. There was no start, no end. You talked about the rest day, things like that. Was it ever like that for you guys, and you drifted away from it, maybe because he got bigger and there was so much going on? Or is this completely brand new for your team?
It was a little bit like this back in the day, where we had the structure and certain times of training. But it's never been as strict as it has been this time. I mean, this has been like very, very strict, exactly specific training, never change anything, the exact times, exact meals, exact sleep patterns. It's been very, very scientific.
And you prefer that?
Yeah, it was good. I've never done this before. This was my first time ever trying this way, and I've enjoyed it. I could see the shape that I'm in now, the best shape ever. It's been good.
Conor,
it's not been easy. It's been hard. It's been harder, but it's certainly the results speak for themselves.
Conor has talked about also bringing in guys who are sort of the same build as Nate, who are lefties, specifically training for that kind of opponent. Have you done the same as well?
Yeah, I've done the same. Conor flew in sparring partners for me also.
Wow.
Which would imitate Chris Avila style. And this is something that I've never done in my life.
Wow.
I've always just sparred whoever was there, whoever is there. If all the guys are good in SBG, so I never really paid attention to this. But this time, I specifically sparred the people that would kind of fight similar way to him. So this has been very, very good for me. I've never done this before. And yeah.
It's interesting. Your nickname now is the Russian Hammer. Back in the day, you were the prospect killer. You could sort of label Chris Avila as a prospect. I kind of feel like for this fight, you need to go back to the old nickname. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind, that nickname, was good. I mean, those were good times, I didn't just give that nickname to myself, I've earned that, and I put fear into all those up-and-comers or, guys with padded record on the scene, they were terrified. Now that I'm gone kind of from the scene and I'm in the UFC, I can see them starting to talk again, but don't sleep on me, the prospect killer is always there, and if you talk too much, if you pad your record too much, I'm gonna come get you.
Like the boogeyman. What's going on with the hair, by the way? Are we shaving the head now? What's happening?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I don't know which story do you want, the real story or the one I've been telling people?
I want the real story. Okay, actually, give me both. I'm curious how the real story differs from the one you're telling people.
Okay, well, the real story is that, it's summertime, I'm going to Vegas, it's warm, all the guys on the team, shave their heads, so I said, I'll do the same. But the real story is, a time has come in a man's life when the hair is thinning out a little bit, and it was time to get rid of
it. So that's it. This is the new look right now?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, how do you feel about it?
I don't know, we'll see. If I get the bonus, I might get the hair transplant. We'll see.
Don't do it. You get a scar on the back of your head, it's a total mess. At some point, you're going to have to get rid of it.
I'm only joking. I wouldn't do it anyway.
Does Artem feel like this is do or die? Do you have to win this fight to remain in the UFC?
Absolutely. I mean, in terms of remaining in the UFC, it's a must win for me. If I lost this one, even if they were offering me another chance, I wouldn't take it.
Wow.
Honestly. If
really?
I lost this fight and they said, okay, Artem, don't worry, we'll give you another shot, I'd be like, no, guys, I don't deserve this. I'm going to go somewhere else and, I'm going to fight my way back in. So definitely, this is do or die.
Wow. Even if it's a close fight and you win like you lose a razor close decision, you're saying thanks but no thanks.
Absolutely, 100%. I always feel you have to earn things. You have to earn what you get, and the position I'm in, I feel that I've earned it. I've done in Europe that no one else is willing to do. I fought everyone. If you look at the guys now, even top 20 guys in the UK and Ireland, none of them fight each other. If you look at my record, every single motherfucker on that record is top 10. So I've done that, and obviously I had the 3 knockouts on The Ultimate Fighter, which very, very few people have done. So I feel that's a big reason of why I'm here. So that's why I'm still here. But if I didn't feel at some point that I deserve something anymore, then I never want to get it. I'm not a beggar, I'm an earner.
Wow. And you are willing, I mean, obviously you're hoping this doesn't happen, but your career doesn't end with the UFC. You are okay with working your way back up? You're not going to stop fighting if things don't work out?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
I tried to stop fighting a few times in my life, and just kind of concentrate on other things, but I swear to God, I'm addicted to this. Wow. I love fighting. Like, if I could fight every week, I would. I swear to God, I would fight every week.
Wow. What about, and I probably could have cross-referenced this, when's the last time you and Conor were on the same card? Do you remember?
The last time on the same card, I can't remember, to be honest. The one that stick out to me, and the reason it does stick out to me is because we're in a similar situation now.
Yeah.
The time when Conor lost to Joe Duffy, okay, I was on that card too, and I also lost my fight.
Wow.
So the two of us were the only two with the losses. The whole team fought on that card, and they all got the wins, and just me and Conor lost. And there's a picture of it, everyone is happy, and the two of us are all sad. And that was kind of a defining moment in both of our careers, because we came back from that. We came back stronger. Look where we are now. And I feel that we're in the same situation now, and we're going to come back from this stronger once again, prove everyone wrong, and destroy the competition and get back on top.
Do you enjoy training for the fight with him, like to fight on the same card, or would you prefer, just being like, how do you like this situation where you guys can peak together?
Yeah, I definitely do like this situation. Yeah, it's good, where you're sharing the same, card, you're training together, you share, thoughts, you share ideas. It's very good.
What's your prediction? How does it go down?
I think I'm stopping this guy. I'm going out to destroy him. I'm going to break his legs in the first round, and I'm going to break his face in the second.
Now, do you mean literally break his legs, or are you talking about like sort of...
Yes, literally break his legs and break his face. I've broken many faces in my time. If you don't believe me, on The Ultimate Fighter even, one of the guys, Jenkins, when I fought him, I broke his orbital. He didn't leave his room for days. This is the kind of power I have. I hit you, your face is broken. That's it.
Damn. All right. Well, best of luck to you, Artem. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
Thank you very much.
I love this. I love this story. I think it's great that you're on the card. I think it's great that you're getting this opportunity. I love the fact that you're fighting Chris. Can't wait for it. Appreciate the time over there. Thanks for taking out some time. We'll see you out there in Las Vegas.
Thanks a million, Niall.
All right, there he is. The Russian Hammer, a.k.a. the prospect killer himself, Artem Lobov. Big fight for him Saturday, UFC 202 in Las Vegas against protege of one Nate and Nick Diaz, Chris Avila. Looking forward to that. That, by the way, is not on the pay-per-view. That is on the FS1 prelims.